You know, throughout the years, Donald J. Trump is not new to world fame. There has been a lot of information about the personality of Donald J. Trump and whether it's objective and rational has abandoned Donald J. Trump. You know, after he lost the first presidency in 45 office, he was not re-elected. And I identified back then that is because Donald J. Trump summoned all the generational blessings of the people in America who still have an American destiny. The forefathers of the MAGA Americans were Christians, and God remembered them, and so God's blessing fell upon Donald J. Trump for no other reason than the generational account of the MAGA Republicans. So when that fell away, the hard reality of the accursing fell upon the entire United States, and the suffering under woke began. This is history, and those 4 years have shaped the United States, whereby Donald J. Trump and the MAGA Republicans started to do whatever needs to do, being shot even, almost once being killed. You know, all kinds of things are happening that shape the minds of the MAGA Republicans, and it draws them closer to God. It draws them so close to God that they found the way to get the curse above their head removed and have a second chance from God. And this is day number, 2 of the cabinet. The Trump cabinet, day number 2 in power, and I have to speak to you in integrity as professional and tell you that Donald J. Trump is showing tendencies of a psychopath. Most people think he's a narcissist, but this is beyond ego issues. Ladies and gentlemen, let me show you the truth. Vladimir Zelensky is a dying man. I mean, that man is a walking dead man. He got a lot of generational energy, as I explained in podcast number 3. So he became the middleman. The Westerner does not want to fight, so the Westerner gave the wallet. The Westerner has the divine right to be, the fight against the barbarians. There's a timeline on the earth where the barbarians are fought. So when God is angry at the barbarians, there's a timeline that God uses to attack the barbarians. That timeline is called the Westerner timeline. So the Westerner has access to military superpower and access to the right financial means to become part of the quote-unquote golden billion. A military and economic superpower to do that which God wants to do, which is to fight barbarians. So the Westerner, in its laziness, does not want to fight the barbarians. So what did it do? It gave the keys to Ukraine. Here's the Westerners' birthright started to run out, and the very last parts of it were just given to Vladimir Zelensky. So Vladimir Zelensky is simply the hitman of the West, and it's a very loyal hitman. It keeps shooting and fighting, and after all this service, it's like how the Americans treat their veterans. After all this service, and Vladimir Zelensky only make his own problems bigger and bigger and bigger, making Vladimir Putin angrier and angrier. Imagine, ladies and gentlemen, listeners, I want you to fully understand the terror and the fear. Imagine that Vladimir Putin catches Vladimir Zelensky in a 1 versus 1. Imagine the anger that Vladimir Putin will have on the man called Vladimir Zelensky after Vladimir Zelensky has played hitman for the West. So, thank you very much, Vladimir Zelensky. Now, fuck off. Oh, you're dying? Okay, bow! You're not bowing good enough. Bow harder! take this deal now or just fuck off. And then Vladimir Zelensky calls back, oh, I'm so sorry, great master in the White House. I'm so sorry. No! Go die. Right? That is the sound of psychopathy. The type of empathy-less existence that is currently in Donald J. Trump. This is beyond narcissism. This is slave mastery. This is exploitation of a dying man. Seeing a dying man and just trying to strangle contract that man. And then you have a vice president who say, be more thankful. Ooh. You know, who here in the West wants to taste some of that American terror and that American tyranny and that American arrogance? Who wants to taste that? Nobody wants to taste that. I mean, I have veto right, diplomatic immunity in the United States system, got master right over the American hierarchy system, whereby I can see the matrix. I can see it. I can't control it, but I can see it. I have declassification right. I have right to declare wars in the name of the United States. So Donald J. Trump cannot tyrannize me because I can just veto every command he would give me. But if you do not have the luxury that I have, you are forced to subject to the White House. And none of you is having a taste of that. All right? And I fully understand that. So when I started to reject Donald J. Trump, which I started doing, I started to insult the man, humiliate the man, ostracize the man, and I started talking like a hard grandmaster to this man. When the voice of God fell upon me, when the Spirit of God fell upon me, everything that had to do with Donald J. Trump, it went like this. I am the grandmaster, and you will do. I started to reflect the American arrogance back to Donald J. Trump without successful effect. Yes, serve the United States. Make your problems bigger. When your day comes that you become weak, as the price you're paying for serving the United States, your reward will be an invitation in the White House, and Donald J. Trump will treat you like a child, and he will fucking break you like a slave. And when you bow deep enough, you might get another stimulus package. And if you don't, you will die. That is the ways of a psychopath. Yes, America used to be ruled by a senile old fool. And now America is being ruled by a psychopath. And he has the divine right to rule. You know, at one point, the Spirit of God fell upon me and say to me, Donald J. Trump is my servant, warning me to not address him like Donald J. Trump is like me and the person, right? God gave me a warning to not address Donald Trump in a certain way. Because Donald J. Trump, one nation under God, is God's servant. Okay? So I needed a couple of years to deal with this childish, selfish, arrogant figure who is trying to get the approval and blessing of God. You know, that's what it is like. You know, Christianity, it is the sinner comes to the church. So it's very easy to condemn the sinner, but the sinner, quote unquote, Donald J. Trump, is under the grace of God. So it took me a while to learn how to deal with the sinner that is in the process of receiving the grace of God. Okay? When you see a psychiatrically ill person, you need treatment. And who dares, who dares, right? If Vladimir Zelensky doesn't break and bow, he may die, right? So who of you dares to talk to Donald J. Trump? The inner circle, right? The ones that are providing a narcissistic supply. Who dares to diagnose Donald J. Trump properly? you will pay the consequence. You can't hide the truth. Sooner or later, the truth will come out. And now the American destiny has come to a halt. The second day of the American new political cycle, where there are no more blessings in the United States. The generational energy of the woke Americans are gone. And the only thing that is left is MAGA America. And MAGA America purified the curses to get the second chance from God. So now I'm telling you, as a prophet of God, and I got psychological intelligence, and I'm reasoning with you the truth. That man needs treatment for his excessive ego and the abuse of authority, which is expressed through psychopathy. The complete void, the lack of empathiness, you know. If I were Donald J. Trump and I would display the type of behavior that he is displaying, the tolerance he has for Nazi greeds, the way how he breaks humans that are in need. No. If you are a true Christian, the only thing you can do is ostracize that. But that is not tactical, because the United States has the most powerful position in this battle against the other monsters in Russia. You know, this is just the way how the world works in 2025. You have the choice between the two lesser evils. However, the evil in Russia is an evil that wants to destroy the entire West. God gave a second chance to Donald J. Trump. It is just a very complicated procedure. And the new beginning, the beginning of something, you know, intelligence and enlightenment is the start of a higher existence. So to fix a problem, you need to know the problem. So I'm emitting the signal into the world. Donald J. Trump is a psychopath.